Love doesn't always come easy, but sometimes it's worth fighting for.
I'm certainly glad to see you again.
I'm certainly glad to see you as well.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 forbidden love movies. For this list, we're looking at live-action films that show two people who are mutually in love, but are kept apart by controlling family members, society, or some other circumstance.
You've grown up, kid.
That means we're excluding animated movies. We'll be talking about major plot points from the movies though, so this is your spoiler alert.
He's looking at you, kid.
Number 10, Dirty Dancing.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
This movie will make you want to sing, dance, and be lifted into the air by Patrick Swayze. Baby and Johnny try to keep their romance a secret because of Baby's father. Jake Houseman is a wealthy doctor who sees Johnny as an irresponsible working-class bad boy that isn't good enough for his innocent daughter and their well-to-do family.
Baby is like that. I mean, if you could just see...
Don't you tell me what to see. I see someone in front of me who got his partner in trouble and sent her off to some butcher while he moved on to an innocent young girl like my daughter.
However, he isn't the only one who is less than pleased to find out that the two have been seeing each other behind his back, as resort owner Max Kellerman fires Johnny for breaking the rules about fraternizing with the vacationers.
They fired you anyway because of me.
Right when you think the romance is over though, Johnny comes swooping in with a one-liner and some dirty dancing.
Nobody puts Baby in a corner.
Number 9, Moulin Rouge.
We have to end it. Everyone knows. Harold knows. Sooner or later, the Duke will find out too.
This sexy musical takes place in Paris in the 1900s at the famous cabaret known as the Moulin Rouge. Satine, played by Nicole Kidman, is a sensual courtesan who is wooed by writer Christian, played by Ewan McGregor.
But the sun's been kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned on.
The musical numbers are lively, the sets are vibrant, and their sex appeal is through the roof. But of course, there's something, or in this case someone, keeping them apart. The villainous Duke, who is willing to finance Satine's show as long as he has exclusive rights to her. After the Duke's efforts to tear them apart fail, a happy ending is dangled in front of us for a brief moment. However, it's all taken away in one heartbreaking moment when Satine dies from tuberculosis in Christian's arms. Number 8, Shakespeare in Love.
Can you love a fool?
Can you love a player?
In this romantic comedy drama, Shakespeare gets a taste of his own medicine when he joins the ranks of star-crossed lovers.
Master Shakespeare.
As just a poor writer, rich noblewoman Viola is way out of his league. Luckily for him, Viola is not your typical noblewoman, so she's willing to dress as a boy so they can see each other.
Did you give her my letter?
And this is for you.
Women had no power during this time, and because she's told to do so, Viola marries Lord Wessex, despite her love for Will. The word unfair does not even begin to describe the situation. While Shakespeare and Viola do get to share the stage together, they are unable to continue their love. For the Queen herself couldn't break the laws of marriage and class in 16th century London.
Goodbye, my love. 1,000 times goodbye.
Number 7, The Notebook.
It wasn't over. It still isn't over.
2 words, Ryan Gosling. You can thank this film for putting him on the map. Now who could turn down someone who looks like him? Allie's parents, that's who, because for them, looks aren't everything. Money is.
She is out fooling around with that boy till 2 o'clock in the morning, and it has got to stop.
To them, Allie is a rich heiress who shouldn't be with someone who is trash like Noah.
He is trash! 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 Not for you!
So the Hamiltons do what any loving parents would do. Ignore their child's happiness, keep them apart, and hide all the letters Noah writes to Allie. All to keep their daughter and their precious money safe.
This is not about keeping your promise, and it's not about following your heart. It's about security.
What is that supposed to mean?
Money!
But despite Allie's parents, World War II, and Allie's fiancé, we find out that it isn't over between them. and that it won't be for many years to come.
Good night.
Good night.
Number 6. Carol. Though we could have also chosen Far From Heaven for this list, it's Todd Haynes' other Oscar-nominated film, Carol, that made the final cut.
Oh, your perfume.
Yes.
It's nice.
Thank you.
The romantic drama tackles the hardships that homosexuals faced in the 1950s, with Cate Blanchett playing the powerful Carol and Rooney Mara as the much more timid Therese. The two have such chemistry that it only seems right that they be together. And it's all the more frustrating when society and Carol's husband make things so difficult for them.
And would you like to marry him?
Well, I barely even know what to order for lunch.
In this relationship, Carol is the real warrior, as she gives a big middle finger to all that try and stand in her and Therese's way.
Now what happened with Therese, I want it. And I will not deny it or say that but I do regret and I grieve for the mess we are about to make of our child's life.
Number 5. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
You are 30 years older than I am. You and your whole lousy generation believes the way it was for you is the way it's got to be. And not until your whole generation has lain down and died will the dead weight of you be off our backs.
This comedy drama sees Joanna and John having to fight to get approval from their parents to get married, which is complicated by the fact that they're an interracial couple.
Hey, you know I ought to call my folks and get that out of the way.
Okay, use the phone in the study. Okay. Are you going to introduce me?
This was a big deal at the time because interracial marriage was illegal through more than half of the 1960s. And in fact, anti-miscegenation laws would only be abolished during the same year that the film was released.
And it never occurred to me that I might fall in love with a Negro. But I did, and nothing in the world is going to change that.
Bolstered by powerful acting performances, knowing that Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was Spencer Tracy's last film makes his final speech even more chilling and emotional, and adds even more poignancy to Joanna and John's love story.
But where necessary, you'll just have to cling tight to each other and say screw all those people.
Number 4. West Side Story.
I just met a girl named Maria.
You could call this the 20th century New York version of Romeo and Juliet, but with music. In this romantic musical drama, Maria is a member of the Puerto Rican gang the Sharks, and Tony is a member of the rival white gang the Jets. This isn't the ideal situation for a budding romance, and so no matter what they do, they just can't seem to erase the years of hatred between the gangs.
Then I'll take you away, where nothing can get to us. Not anyone or anything.
As such, the lovers decide that the only way they can be together is by running away and getting married in secret. But as we have seen in several entries on this list already, forbidden love stories tend to end in tragedy. And unfortunately, it's no different for this couple. Tony is shot by Maria's arranged fiancé Chino, and he dies in her arms.
Well, I can kill too, because now I have hate. How many can I kill, Chino? How many?
Number 3. Brokeback Mountain.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Warning, this movie will make you cry. It tackles the homophobia that was rampant in America in the 1960s through the story of Ennis, played by Heath Ledger, and Jack, played by Jake Gyllenhaal.
Sometimes I miss you so much I can hardly stand it.
The two cowboys fall in love but must live apart for fear of being discriminated against, or worse, killed. The few times they do get to see each other demonstrates how much they truly love each other, and how unjust it is that they can't be together.
If you can't fix it, Jack, you got a standard.
For how long?
As long as we can ride it.
The women and children in their lives serve to complicate matters further. But it's the romantic drama's ending that really pulls at your heartstrings and leaves very few moviegoers with dry eyes.
There's never enough time, never enough.
Number 2. Romeo and Juliet.
Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night.
Romeo and Juliet are arguably the most famous star-crossed lovers in history. You know the story, but here's a quick recap. Romeo is a Montague and Juliet is a Capulet, which means that they're from two dueling families that will never let them be together. So in the end, they take their own lives.
Dateless bargain to engrossing death.
What makes this version of the play so memorable is that it keeps the poetic language of Shakespeare and contrasts it with modern-day sets, weapons, and clothes. Director Baz Luhrmann makes the double suicide even more heartbreaking when we're allowed to watch Juliet with a little glimmer of hope as she wakes up to see Romeo in his final dying moments.
Now kiss thy lips, and place some poison yet doth hang on them.
But this is all too quickly taken away when she realizes the truth and takes her own life shortly thereafter.
For never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
You better go.
You got with me spite your family, because you were curious about black.
Is that what you think it was?
Yeah, I do.
Every step I have taken since I was that child on the bridge has been to bring myself closer to you.
I always wear it. I've always worn it. I've always loved you.
Number 1, Titanic.
Where to, miss?
To the stars.
At the top of our list is another story in which we find parents standing in the way of true love.
Don't do it.
Stay back. Don't come any closer.
Come on. Just give me your hand. I'll pull you back over.
Rose's family, to put it bluntly, are complete snobs. To them, a person's character is measured by wealth, and that puts Jack, a penniless artist, at about a 0. They will only sell Rose to the highest bidder, which is how she gets a fiancé like Cal.
My wife in practice, if not yet by law, so you will honor me.
But the teenaged Rose won't have any of it, and decides to keep seeing the lower-class Jack while she is on board the Titanic. Though they spit, dance, and fly together, fate has other plans for the couple.
Flying!
Though the unsinkable ship ultimately sinks, Jack proves that money doesn't make the man when he makes the ultimate sacrifice to save Rose. Their love may have been forbidden, but it was also undeniably one of the most memorable to ever be put to screen.
I'll never let go. I promise.
Do you agree with our list? Which forbidden romance film had you taking out the tissues?
Where I'm going, you can't follow. What I've got to do, you can't be any part of. Ilsa, I'm no good at being noble, but it doesn't take much to see that the problems of 3 little people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world. Someday you'll understand that.
For more lists that tug at the heartstrings, be sure to subscribe to MsMojo.
Well, Tilly, when the hell are we going to get some dinner?
You've got to laugh a little, cry